So you're an Olympic world champion sprinter. You've been winning every major championship back to back to back. At the same time, your bank account is skyrocketing and followers are multiplying. You feel unstoppable. You're on top of the world and it seems like nothing can get in your way. But now you're facing a problem. You feel a pain in your leg during training. At first, you don't think much of it, but it doesn't seem to go away, so you get it examined. The results are not good. You're forced to pull out of a major race. It's fine, they said it should get better soon. However, it doesn't, and you cancel more races. That's not good. This is what's happening to Marcell Jacobs right now. It's no surprise that injuries happen in elite sports.
LeBron, ooh, down he goes, and he grabs his ankle.
La cara de Cristiano Ronaldo
hasn't ended as he would have liked.
This 2007 study examined 16 years of data from the NCAA. Out of all these sports, which one would you guess has the highest rate of injury? Baseball, basketball, football, American football, gymnastics, volleyball, wrestling, hockey. Well, they found that American football had the highest rate of injury. And the most common injury were not concussions like you would imagine, but actually ankle sprains. In terms of track and field, this study examined acute hamstring injuries in 165 athletes. They found that 81% of the athletes returned to full performance in 2 weeks, and 3% returned in 6 weeks. Later on in this video, we're gonna talk about what we can do to avoid becoming a statistic, which is especially important if you're a sprinter in high school, college, or an adult working a full-time job. In this case, here's what we know about Marcell Jacobs' situation. On June 1st, 2022, he posted this photo to his Instagram to announce that his injuries are not recovering fast enough to compete in his upcoming races. The exact condition is reportedly a distraction-elongation of the first degree, specifically in his glute. In other words, he pulled a muscle in his butt. It supposedly first occurred during his season opener in Italy, where he was still able to win with a 10.05. Since then, he's canceled races for the time being and appears to be doing plenty of rehab work, including running underwater. But the questions now are, how will this affect his career? What can we do to minimize injury in our own training? And how much money is this costing him? Here's how important the glute is in sprinting. This study examined the muscles of the lower body between elite, sub-elite, and non-sprinters. They found that the elite sprinters had glutes 45% bigger than sub-elite sprinters. Turns out developing this area of your body is even more important than we would imagine for speed. Now, although I am using this negative event to get your attention, I want to use this opportunity for something positive. Because ultimately, my mission here is to help you run faster and transform your body through sprinting. So let's talk about what we can do to minimize injury according to science. Studies suggest that in track, overuse is one of the most common causes of injury. And in order to prevent this, we need to be very careful when monitoring training load. According to this research paper, coaches should closely monitor athletes' training loads, intensity, and number of hard sessions per week to minimize injuries. Anyone can look up exercises and drills online, but putting everything together correctly is another thing. For example, during strength training, you might measure your volume based on sets. During sprinting, one way to measure volume is based on how many meters or yards you're doing each week. Something I monitor closely for all the athletes that I work with. If you need help with this, you can book a free consultation by clicking the link down below in the description. Unless you're running world-class times, you should not be experiencing injuries frequently. Now, we don't know yet how long it will take for Marcell Jacobs to recover, but in the meantime, how much is this costing him in prize money? According to this report by the World Athletics, the prize money for continental gold level meetings is between $15,000 and $10,000. According to the Diamond League website, prize money for first place in a meet is $10,000. Prize money for first place in a final is $30,000. But the real money is in sponsorships, which for an Olympic champion could be millions. All of this is at risk when an athlete can't compete. Most of us can still work even if we don't get enough sleep, have a headache, or are dealing with back pain. Being a professional athlete is a whole different world. You have to be in peak condition 24/7. You can't be sleep deprived, sick. Even a minor stomach ache can ruin your entire training session. Anything that interferes with being at absolute maximum performance has a direct effect on your income. The level of pressure these men and women deal with is brutal. Fortunately for everyone else, injuries can be prevented and minor issues should not be taken lightly. Here's a quick story of what not to do. The other day I was at the track with the guys and I met this kid. He tells me he's been dealing with an Achilles injury for a while. But here's the thing, apparently he went to the doctor and they said it's 70% recovered. You would think that this is good news, except this is where things got worse. Apparently his coach finds out and immediately puts him right back into track meets. Twice a week, every week, back to back. Saturdays and Sundays, one meet right after another. Then guess what happens? It completely destroys this guy. He couldn't even run anymore. He was just walking around the track while his friend was doing tempo runs. And this wasn't even a high school athlete. This happened on a college team. I don't normally share stories in my videos, but in this case I have to, because if your coach does not put your safety ahead of his ego, you might be in the wrong hands. In terms of Marcell Jacobs, the good news is, according to Italian media outlets, the Olympic champion is already seeing improvements in his recovery, and he's already back on the track running again. The World Championships are 1 month away, and only time will reveal whether or not Marcell Jacobs is able to compete and dominate on that day. If you want to see more about what kind of training Marcell Jacobs does, click here. Some of this has never been talked about before, and I even go over how we can copy some of his methods for our own training. If you're not injured, then this video will be even more useful than the one you just watched. Click here to see it now.